Welcome back to RoyalTEA, and that's TEA for Teaching Economic Advocacy. I'm your host, Queen Candace, and on today's episode, we'll be diving into the hot topic of defunding the police. What does it mean, and how can we actually do it, right? Like, all of these hot words floating around. I don't really know what that's about, right? All of these conspiracy theories about what defunding the police actually is about. So, we're going to get a little bit deeper into that. And it's great to get these conversations going. But in order to actually advocate for ourselves, we need to know who's on the ground leading the charge so that we can come together for our voices to be heard and action to be taken. I'm here with our special guest, Mike Tucker of Lay the Guns Down Now, to tell us the tea on defunding the police. He's the founder of two community organizations, one being Lay the Guns Down Now, and the other being the Community Hub. So hi, Mike. Thanks so much for joining us. Your mic is muted. Your mic is muted. Mike, your mic is muted. It's not unmuting. You may want to try to hit the unmute button on your end because I'm hitting it over here and it's not.
Can you hear me?
There you go. Now we can hear you. Yes.
Okay. I was saying that your
Hi,
mic
Mike.
was breaking up and I really couldn't hear you. I'm sorry. How are you?
Got you. Pretty good, pretty good.
And
How
thank you
are
for having me.
you? Yes, yes, yes. Of course, of course. No, I had to talk to somebody who's actually like in the trenches, doing the work and all that good stuff. So thank you so much for taking the time to join us tonight. I want to jump right into the topic. So, what was the reason behind creating Lay the Guns Down Now?
The reason behind the Lay the Guns Down Now, unfortunately, was because in 2005, my oldest son was killed by a New York City police officer. And so I didn't want to be seen as another angry Black father that lost a child. I wanted to do something about it. I wanted to educate people. I didn't want anyone to feel the pain that I was experiencing. And so I started Lay the Guns Down Foundation, Lay the Guns Down Now.
Okay. Did you ever receive justice for what happened?
No, because they declared it as an accidental shooting. That was the way that it was declared. So it wasn't no criminal charges brought. There wasn't no real investigation. I mean, they investigated it, but that was the determination at the end of everything that it was an accidental shooting.
And you believe that it was more of a form of police brutality than it was so like something that, oh, oops, my gun went off.
I feel that way, but when you're not able to prove it, you know, your cries fall on deaf ears, as they say.
That's definitely true, definitely true. So for Lay the Guns Down Now, that's specifically an organization for assisting with police brutality and educating folks on, gun violence and things of that nature. Do you also assist with the whole defunding the police kind of thing?
Yes, I was a part of that meeting. It was actually it was myself, Anthony Bedford he's the president of Black Lives Matter Brooklyn, Sister Aisha Sekou from Street Corner Resources up in Harlem, and Gwendolyn Carr, who is Eric Gar's mother. And basically, we was invited. This was a private meeting to go and sit down at Gracie Mansion and talk to the mayor and his wife about criminal justice reform, NYPD, and what criminal justice reform looks like from our eyes. And because I've been out here so long and working with so many different families, and like, when is something actually going to happen to a police officer that takes someone's life within the five boroughs? But as we see, it's not just here, it's all around the world. And so unfortunately, Mr. Floyd had to lose his life, but in him losing his life, it brought the spotlight on injustice in America for people of color.
Correct, correct, absolutely. His life was definitely like one of those really big sparks. Usually it's just like, so
Yes.
we've all been thinking about like, okay, well, this has been happening for so long now that a lot of us have become very numb to it. In fact, right? Like we're just like, oh, it's just another one of us going down. Why are they doing that? We're upset for 2 minutes. But now it seems like it's finally actually sparked some more movement within the movement that was already happening, right? So the groundwork was already being laid. So I just
Yes.
want to talk a little bit about what does defunding the police actually mean? Because a lot of folks don't get what that is.
Okay, so basically, the police budget, NYPD budget, is $6 billion.
Wow.
Uh, there was a request put on the table to defund the police by $1 billion. To take that $1 billion and put it back into the communities of color, to be able to get resources that are definitely needed, as we learned from the COVID-19 situation, that people of color have been affected gravely. And so there's a lot of resources behind it that need to get to our people. Uh, so basically, educational programs, mental health, health care, job programs, after school programs, to be able to have programs that get the kids out the street, but also bring resources to the communities. And so that's what the whole defund the police was about. With that money, it can be put back into the community and help so many families and so many lives and change so many lives, because there's so much going on right now. We got 40 million plus people that lost their job because of COVID-19. Unemployment was extended, but it's getting ready to run out. People are trying to figure out what is their next move. So being able to bring some programs into the communities, that's going to help lift the community is needed.
Oh, uh-oh. We lost Mike, guys. He just popped on out. So right now, for those of you who are tuning in, we are speaking to Mike Tucker of Lay the Guns Down Now about defunding the police. And it looks like he's back. So I'm going to pop him back in. Okay.
Yeah, I'm here. So I was saying that, it was put on the table because, like I said, we wanted to make sure that that money got where it is needed. Like I said, there's so much going on, but as everyone knows, that as people of color, that everything hits hard. And so we wanted to make sure that that money went back into the community. It went back into programs for youth, educational programs, job programs, anything that was going to uplift the community and make the community better.
So how long has defunding the police been going on? Because a lot of people think that it's just like, oh, now all of a sudden the government cares and they want to give 1 billion away, and where'd the money come from? So how long have you guys been working on this?
Well, Mr. Bedford and them have been working on it for a while. I just came into play after the situation happened, when I was invited to the meeting. But this is something that's not just came up because of the George Floyd situation. You have organizations like myself and people that's behind the scenes that's constantly working to make sure that funds are available to the community, that make sure that the police department are held accountable for their actions. So with everything that took place, they said, okay, this is what we are going to do. We're going in with demands. These are demands that's been on the table for years. Let's go. Let's sit down and make this happen this time, because it's time. It's time for this to happen. People need to understand what's going on. People need to see that their lives matter, their family lives matter, and that if the NYPD are killing people, families, that this is the day and this is the year that people have to answer for their actions.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, do you believe that defunding the police is possible? Like, how do you make sure that the funds get to the communities where it's supposed to go, as opposed to being rerouted to some private white school, right? So, how do we make sure that that actually happens?
Because you have people like myself, Sister Aisha Sekou, Mr. Anthony Bedford, Minister Kevin McCall, and people that work inside the mayor's office that's making sure that what is said is actually taking place. And he knows that the four individuals that he met with and Ms. Carr are those individuals that's going to make sure you're not just going to talk to us and tell us, that you're going to do something that it actually doesn't happen. So the request to defund the police by $1 billion that was granted. So we want to make sure that those funds are distributed to the places that the mayor allocated them to, and we're going to make sure that they get to where they're supposed to get to. One of the other things that I want to say is because there's a lot going on, and I think that right now that this is the time to have this conversation. Um, people saying defund the police. They want them to defund the police. They've been screaming that for the last couple of weeks. But as we look at our city and our five boroughs and beyond, you see that there's a spike in gun violence. You see that there's a
Correct.
spike in crime, but it's for a couple of different reasons. One, people are, like I said, they don't know what their next move is. What am I going to do? Not saying that they're right for what's going on in regards to the robbings and the shootings and everything, because it's never right to do any of that. There are resources available. When I talk to my young brothers and sisters and adults as well, I let them know that there are programs. That's why we started this program called the Community Hub, because a lot of things fall to the wayside just because people are not aware of them. And we need to make sure that all of this information is getting out to the seniors, is getting out to our communities, what's available to them. That's very important. As I was saying, that there's so much going on right now. We're running through the streets with our hands held high saying Black Lives Matter, but at the same time, Black lives are taking other Black lives. Brown lives are taking other brown lives. So we're going to talk and we're going to step up to the plate, and we're going to call people out. We have to start, as they said, clean your own backyard before you clean somebody else's. It's time for
Hmm.
us to clean our backyards. There's too much going on, and we need to make sure that our city, our communities are safe. We can't do that if, when somebody's killed, like you said when we started the program, that, oh, we're mad for 2 minutes and then, we're back to normal. This has to
Correct.
be a everyday thing, just like when you upset about the police department when they kill us. We're upset and outraged and want to do something about it. This should be every day, and I've been saying this for years.
Oh, we lost Mike again, guys. Hey, Monica. Hey, sis. Hey, sis. Hey, sis. How are you? How are you? How are you? We're going to get Mike back in here in a second. I'm going to let him have a chance to get his things together. For those of you tuning in, we are talking to Mike Tucker of Lay the Guns Down Now and the Community Hub about defunding the police. So, Chris Patterson, hey, how are you? How are you? You are very welcome. This conversation is very much needed. He also says, thank you, Mike. So I see Mike has popped back in. We're going to get him back in. Hey,
I'm in.
Mike.
I'm in. And like I said, I'm sorry. When that's what happens, the devil is busy. He's trying to stop this beautiful conversation,
That
this
is very
information that
true.
we're getting out to the listeners. So the last thing that I said is that we have to stand up and speak out about what's going on. We can't say defund the police and y'all are tearing up the city. Look at what happened in Harlem. That's not supposed to happen. This is New York. This is New York. This is not Jerusalem or one of them, Iran or something like that. We don't do that here. And I'm trying to get our brothers and sisters to understand that. Two wrongs don't make it right. You can't holler about one thing and then do something different. we all have to be on the same page. So all of them activists that's up in Harlem and you have to let these young people know, get out there and talk to them. Not saying that that's not what's taking place, but that
Mhm.
wasn't supposed to take place the other night. We have to, like I said, stand strong on what we're trying to get accomplished, and we can't accomplish that by tearing up our city, by disrespecting the police officers.
We lost Mike again, guys. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening. Hey, Mike's back. I don't know what's going on, guys. All right, Mike's back. Mike's back. Hey, Mike,
We
what's
need to.
happening?
I'm back. I'm so sorry. I don't know. It keep going out. I don't know, and I apologize. But I want to make sure that this conversation happens. If
Yes,
we got to take extra time, whatever we need to do, we're going to make it happen. So as I
great.
was saying, that there's a lot going on, and I just want to make sure that people understand. And this is the first thing that I tell people: respect. If we start out with that in a conversation, if you respect me for being a man and I'm respecting you for being a woman, and we're trying to have a conversation, as long as we respect each other, we can
Hmm.
get to the next level. You
That's
understand?
right.
There's a lot going on. The police don't trust the community. The community don't trust the police. And we need to have some common ground. And remember, I started this off by saying my son was killed by a police officer. I'm not defending the police. I'm trying to get us in a place where we all have common ground. We can respect each other, come up with ideas and solutions to be able to coexist with each other.
Yes. That's definitely the end goal, right? So I keep hearing something about disbanding the police and all this yah, and I'm just like, so what does that actually mean? You're just gonna throw the police out and bring back the same people who were, the problem? How is that gonna help anything?
No, well, exactly. First thing, they're not going to defund the police like that. So, like I said, the request from New York was $1 billion. They did it.
Okay.
We have to continue that fight, as I said, to hold them, make sure that all of those that money goes to the places that is allocated for, but also to continue this conversation after. Where do we go from here? How do we not get back to this point? And that's what the
Correct.
conversation is. And I thank the mayor's office, and I thank everybody that I work with for allowing me to be at that table. As the young people that I tell from the hub, I want to teach you how to scream and get heard.
That's right.
You understand? That's what
That's
it's
right.
about: screaming and getting heard. You can scream outside. I'm tired of screaming outside. I want to be at the table so my voice can get heard. Now that I'm at the table, my voice is heard. I can bring about changes in our community. The Black Lives Matter that's being painted in all 5 boroughs, that was because I said to the mayor that people are hurting. People are
Hmm.
hurting in this city. All 5 boroughs, there are thousands of families that's been affected by their loved ones being lost at the hands of police brutality. What do we say to them? We need to give them some hope that things are going to get better. I said we need to send a strong message. That strong message is Black Lives Matter in all 5 boroughs. So the
Absolutely.
mayor is
I love that.
listening.
So, okay, yes. So he's listening, and we just saw the whole article and everything come out about the 1 billion. So I'm glad that you spoke about that. So now, what are the next steps? What happens after they say, okay, here's 1 billion? What happens now? So where do the funds get allocated to, and how is that allocation going to occur?
The allocation, well, as I said, the money has been basically the city council approved the budget that the mayor put in last night. So now it's just about getting that money to those programs. And we have a few people that's on, like I said, we're meeting with the mayor again probably in about another week to find out what those next steps is and how soon
Okay.
that money will be allocated. So I'm willing to come back on the program next week and be able to give you that updated information, because right now I just don't have it, because it
Hmm.
just happened yesterday and they're still putting everything together.
Gotcha. Yes, we will definitely have you back for an update because we need that update, Mike. We need to know what's going on with our money. What's going on?
Uh, I'll c- I'll come here every Wednesday if I need to satisfy your listeners.
I love it. I love it. Yes, dedication. So, you spoke about the community hub and lay the guns down now. So, I
Yes.
just want you to I guess, differentiate or explain what these two organizations do exactly.
Okay. All right. So Lay the Guns Down Foundation is we use that to, like I said, educate people, but also to engage. My whole thing is working with families who have experienced tragedies due to gun violence. So I do a number of different things. I have a an event called My Safe Summer. My Safe Summer Family Day, where every year I partner up with different elected officials, and we go into a community park that's in the city in one of the boroughs, but mainly Brooklyn. We do an event where we bring out resources to that community, whatever resources are available. We bring those resources out. We allow people to come out and perform, to be able to let the community and let them be a part of it, because these are people that's from the community. So we want them to fully participate in what's going on. We also do this event. I haven't done it in 2 years, but it's called the Back to School Bash that we did in front of the Barclays Center for 4 consecutive years. Uh, Anywhere from 6,000 to 12,000 people in front of the Barclays Center. And that
Wow.
event was me sponsoring 10 community based organizations to come out, once again, bring resources to the community. Like I said, a lot of things we don't take advantage of, and it's just because we don't know about them. And so I want to
Right.
make sure that I'm able to get that information out to the public, but
Hmm.
also be able to give give a little bit of healing to these families and let them know that their loved one matters. So even with this program that we just started on the community hub, is called "What About My Child?" Because over the years, I've ran into so many mothers and fathers, but mainly two mothers that stick in my head: Monica and Bridget. These were two mothers from Brooklyn that lost their child, and every time I see them, we done been to different meetings and different candlelight visuals, and it's always the same thing. What about my child? My child don't matter. So this is why we started the "What About My Child" campaign, because we want to highlight and bring attention to all of those families who haven't been championed by an elected official or celebrity. This is their opportunity to get their voices heard. What else we do? Like I said, we anytime that there's a shooting, we do community response, where we go to to the area that that person was shot at. We do a visual for that individual, and just really call on the community to stand up a little bit more. And hopefully, with everything that's happening, that people will. But right now, we see that it's still the same thing. We had in the last 2 weeks over 500 or 600 shootings, because
Wow.
of what's going on. And this should not be happening. It was 348 a couple of days ago. There was 11 shootings last night, where a little 11-year-old boy got shot coming
I
from the
know.
store. This is not the Wild Wild West in Flatbush. Yes, this is not the Wild Wild West. And as I said, when I talk to people, I let them know it's up to you. It's up to you. The only way that this is going to stop in our communities is we have to speak out. Like I said, when something happens, we have to come out the house. This is Black
Right.
Lives Matter. I want to see everybody out in the street when somebody's shot dead that looks like us. It's not just about the police. If we're going to talk about everything, let's talk about everything. We
Let's talk
can't
about
be
it
one
all.
sided. We can't be one sided. We have to be 100, as they say. We got to keep it 100. The
Yes,
communities,
absolutely.
the communities that we live in, we have to make sure that they're all right. I had a conversation with someone last week in regards to uh, uh, not I'm sorry, I'm trying to get it out my head. It's on the tip of my tongue. But basically, community organizations, I'm sorry, block associations. Okay, it was right on the tip of my tongue. Block association. When I was a kid, that was important because they organized. Besides the church, the block association was where you went to for information, help, and stuff like that. And so I remember that coming up, having that conversation the other day. There's still block associations, but not the way that they used to be, because everybody is
Definitely
so
not.
standoff. Nobody don't
Definitely
want to
not.
talk to people anymore. People are scared. So here's the thing, when you see somebody, if you see on the news somebody shot dead, they're saying, oh, they want people to tell, they want people to snitch. But when it happens to your family, if somebody's seen it, wouldn't you want them to tell who that individual
You want
was?
justice. Absolutely,
Exactly.
absolutely.
So we have to, like I said, we have to keep it 100. We can't say, all right, we're against the police because they're killing our people, but every day we're killing our people. So where's the justice for the brothers and sisters that we lost that look like at us at the hands of us? We
I
need to stop that.
definitely,
So
I
moving on
yeah,
to,
I definitely agree that
I'm
it's
sorry,
it's
I just,
it's a no, it's fine. It's definitely a simultaneous effort, right? So we have to clean up what's going on and all of
yes,
the hurt and anguish and oppression that we've been under, that we're programmed to kill each other, right? We're programmed to do that. So we do have to do that
yep,
reprogramming, and we also have to be on the front lines trying to get heard and be treated as human, because right now we're not being treated as human, right? And that's like basic hello, I'm American, what happened to my humanity type of thing, right? So I definitely agree with you.
absolutely.
So I wanted to, and I also appreciate that. Another big thing, because I grew up in the 90s, right? So in the 90s, we knew exactly who the community leaders were. You could say, hey, that's Reverend whatever. Oh,
Exactly.
that's Mr. Franklin up the block. I got to talk to him about what's going on my
That's right.
street and those kinds of things. So I appreciate that there's now a space where people can say, hey, this is my community liaison. If something happens in my neighborhood, I'm going to the community hub. If something happens with me and the police,
That's
I
right.
got arrested for no reason or things like that, I have somewhere to come. Right. So I think that this is an amazing
That's right.
conversation, and I definitely appreciate you for being here. So I want to know
No,
who can
absolutely. I just
join.
wanted to
Who?
get into. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Go ahead. I was going to ask you who can
No, I
join
just
the
want, because I
community
didn't
hub.
answer. We were just talking, and I didn't.
No, it's fine.
Everybody can join.
Yeah.
Everybody can join. We want people to join because we want people to understand what's going on, and that we have a platform where your voice will be heard. We have different people coming on, different elected officials coming on to talk about different topics. So right now with the pushes, and I'm glad we're talking about this, is voting registration. But before we even get to that, the census, we need to get our people to understand how important that is, because that brings resources to our community. So a lot of people, I'm not filling it out. A lot of people are scared to fill it out. But if you don't fill it out, you just shortchanging what we are already
That's
been
correct.
shortchanged on. And people need to understand that. And like I said, everybody can join the community hub. I need 500 people to do the ride to Convo. So we're putting together an event called Ride to Convo. So it's ride, and then we're going to have a conversation at the end of it. But we want at least 500 people with bikes. We'll be able to have the information. We'll be able to give that in a few minutes
Yes,
on
please.
what they need to do. But we want people to join the community hub. It is very, very important, because the more people we have, the better it is. More information is gathered, more resources get out to the community.
Great, great, great. And how can they join? Like, where exactly do we go to sign up? How do we get the information? Where's the newsletter at? What's all that good stuff?
Okay, hold on 1 second. Just give me 1 second. So if you want to join a community hub, I'm gonna tell you right now. Let me get the information. I apologize.
Okay. No, no, it's fine.
Ah, I'm so sorry. Right here. Give me 1 second. I'm just pulling it
Mhm.
up. I okay. Sorry for having y'all waiting, but I just want to make sure that y'all get the right information.
Great, great, great. We appreciate you.
Okay,
We appreciate you.
absolutely. All right, it's coming right now. All right, right now, what you can do is you can call 917. I'm sorry, sorry, I apologize. This is Nani Littman, and she is actually the director of operations for the community hub. Her number is 917, I'm sorry, 929 353 9299.
929-353.
9299. Or you can email her at NANI 91 at soundcloud.com.
Okay, so how you guys can
And you
join
can
the
also
community hub?
email latergunsdown at Yahoo. I'm sorry, latergunsdown at yahoo.com. You can also email there for more information. My phone died and I'm trying to get the information, but my phone died.
Okay, perfect, perfect. So to join the community hub, you guys can contact Nani Littman at 929-353-9299. And her email address is Nani, Nani 91 at soundcloud.com. And you guys can also go to email lay the guns down, lay the guns down, or lay the guns down now.
Latergunsdown at yahoo.com.
All right, lay the guns down at yahoo.com. All right, all right, all right. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you, Monica, for saying it may take a long time, but it can be done with the right people in leadership. So it's clear that with Mike and Nani, and shout out to Scott Morris as well, we have our base, right? So we have a place to
Absolutely.
come. It is called the Community Hub. And this is the process that we are starting right now. So thank you so much for joining us, Mike. We appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely.
It's
I'm coming
great.
back next week. Don't forget. I want to come back next week. Like I said, I got to update y'all on the information. So until this is over, if you'll have me, I'll be back.
Fantastic, Mike. We would love, love, love to have you. Thank you so much for joining.
No
You
problem.
have a very good night.
Absolutely. You too. Thank you.
All right, guys. So thank you so much for tuning in to RoyalTEA. That's TEA for Teaching Economic Advocacy. Thank you so much for shedding some light on this heavy topic, Mike. We appreciate you so much, if I had said the whole time here. So I would love to bring guests on the show to talk about financial topics in your community, just like this one that you care about, okay? So go to royalresilience.org, or you can hit me in my DM at Royal Resilience Inc. It's down here on the bottom. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm your host, Queen Candace. And until next time, stay royally resilient, y'all.